It took me 30 years to discover these amazing ways to keep ginger fresh. Hi there, it's Nancy. I can't tell you how many times I've bought fresh ginger, tucked it neatly in the kitchen drawer, and then completely forgotten about it until weeks later when it turned dry and wrinkled like old bark. But here's the good news, you don't have to throw away ginger ever again. With one simple trick that's been around for generations, you can keep your ginger fresh, juicy, and full of that wonderful aroma for months. So stay with me. I'll show you exactly how to do it. Method 1. Preserving ginger with baking soda. The first and most reliable way to keep ginger fresh for months is to use baking soda. It's simple, inexpensive, and works like magic. Start by choosing ginger that's firm and dry to the touch. Avoid pieces that look wet or too shiny. Moisture makes ginger spoil quickly. A little soil on the skin is perfectly fine. In fact, the natural outer layer helps protect the ginger from drying out too fast. Next, grab a sturdy cardboard box. Line the bottom with some old newspaper paper towels, or even a piece of dry cloth. These layers will absorb any extra moisture. Then sprinkle a thin layer of baking soda on top. It acts as a natural preservative. Place your ginger pieces on the baking soda in a single layer. Don't stack them. Pressure causes bruising and faster spoilage. If you have a lot, alternate layers of baking soda and ginger until the box is full. Finally, close the lid and store it in a cool, well-ventilated spot away from sunlight. The cardboard box helps control temperature, while baking soda prevents mold and sprouting. Even after 2 or 3 months, your ginger will still be fresh, firm, and fragrant, just like the day you brought it home. It's an easy, time-tested trick that keeps waste to a minimum and your kitchen stocked with perfect ginger whenever you need it. Method 2. Freezing ginger. If you cook often and want to have fresh ginger ready anytime, freezing is by far one of the easiest and most practical methods. It not only keeps ginger from spoiling, but also saves you a lot of prep time during busy days. Start by washing the ginger thoroughly. Then pat it completely dry with paper towels. Any leftover dampness can cause frost and shorten its shelf life. Next, cut the ginger into pieces that match how you usually use it in your kitchen. You can slice it thin, chop it small, or even cut it into chunks for soups or tea. Place the prepared pieces in a large bowl and drizzle a little bit of cooking oil over them, just enough to coat lightly. Toss gently so every piece is covered. The thin oil layer helps prevent dehydration and keeps the ginger from sticking together when frozen. Transfer the coated pieces into small, airtight containers or freezer bags. Press out as much air as possible before sealing. Then flatten the bags to save space. When you need some, simply take out the amount you want and add it straight into your cooking. No need to thaw. Frozen ginger keeps its natural aroma, flavor, and nutrients beautifully. It's a simple trick that ensures you'll always have fresh ginger on hand, ready to add that warm, comforting taste to your meals anytime. Method 3. Preserving ginger in honey. This next method doesn't just help you store ginger, it also creates a delicious natural remedy that's wonderful for your health. Ginger preserved in honey stays fresh for months and makes a soothing tonic that's perfect for cold mornings or when you feel a sore throat coming on. Start by washing your ginger well and drying it completely. You can peel it if you prefer, though leaving the skin on is perfectly fine. Slice the ginger into thin rounds or fine strips. Thinner pieces help the honey soak in faster and make it easier to use later. Next, take a clean, completely dry glass jar. Even a drop of water can ruin the whole jar, so keep everything completely dry. Layer the ginger slices inside the jar. Then slowly pour honey over them until everything is fully covered. Use a clean chopstick or spoon to press down gently, removing any air bubbles and ensuring the ginger is completely coated. Seal the jar tightly and store it in a cool, dark place for a few days before using. For longer storage, you can keep it in the refrigerator. It will stay good for several months. To enjoy, simply add a spoonful of honeyed ginger to a cup of hot water or tea. It warms your body, calms your stomach, and supports your immune system. It's not just storage, it's self-care in a jar. Method 4. Drying or dehydrating ginger. If you prefer a method that doesn't require refrigeration, drying ginger is the perfect solution. It's one of the oldest and most reliable ways to preserve ginger, and it allows you to keep it fresh, flavorful, and ready to use for up to a year. Start by washing your ginger thoroughly and letting it drain completely. You can peel it if you like, but it's not necessary. The skin adds extra aroma and nutrients. Then slice the ginger evenly into thin pieces about 1/8 of an inch thick. The thinner the slices, the faster and more evenly they'll dry. Spread the slices in a single layer on a clean tray basket or mesh rack. Make sure they don't overlap. Airflow is key to preventing mold. Place the tray under strong sunlight and let the ginger dry for 3 to 5 days, bringing it indoors at night to avoid dew. If the weather isn't ideal, you can use an oven set to a low temperature around 120 degrees. Leave the door slightly open to allow moisture to escape. And dry the slices for 1 to 2 hours until they're crisp and snap easily. Once cooled, store your dried ginger in a tightly sealed glass jar or vacuum-sealed bag. Keep it in a cool, dry place away from sunlight. Dried ginger can be used for cooking, making tea, or even ground into powder. It's a simple, natural way to enjoy that comforting ginger flavor all year long. Method 5. Storing ginger in sand or dry soil. If you want a natural, low-maintenance way to keep your ginger fresh for months, this old-fashioned method is worth trying. It's especially useful if you buy ginger in bulk or harvest it from your own garden. All you need is a little clean sand or dry, loose soil and a cool corner in your home. Start by selecting firm, healthy ginger roots with smooth skin. Gently brush off any dirt, but don't wash them with water. Remember, moisture is the biggest reason ginger spoils quickly. Next, prepare a storage container, a small wooden box, a styrofoam cooler, or even a large flower pot will do. Pour in a layer of clean, dry sand or soil about 2 inches thick. Then place the ginger pieces on top, leaving a bit of space between each one. Cover them completely with another layer of sand. Store the container in a cool, shaded place away from direct sunlight. The sand acts like a natural barrier, maintaining gentle moisture and keeping the temperature stable, similar to how ginger stays underground before harvest. With this method, your ginger can stay plump and fresh for up to 3 or 4 months without refrigeration. When you're ready to use it, simply dig out a piece, brush off the sand, and it's good to go, just like freshly picked ginger. It's a simple, natural way to let nature do the preserving for you. If you've tried any of these tips, I'd love to hear how they worked for you. Sharing helps us all learn together. Before you go, just remember, taking a little extra care with the things you buy isn't only about saving food, it's about nurturing your home and your health. Fresh ingredients bring fresh energy into every meal, and even small habits like storing ginger the right way can make your daily cooking smoother and more joyful.